Hello everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're seeing what books Goodreads thinks I would like. So earlier this week, I posted a video of my 5-star predictions. 10 books that I think are going to actually be 5 stars that were all off of my TBR. But it also made me think, Goodreads has this area where you can go in and see books that you're currently reading or ones that you want to read, and it has readers also liked these books. And so I was curious, those were the books that I picked to potentially be 5-star reads. But what if I went on Goodreads and looked at my last 5-star reads? What recommendations would they suggest based on what other readers have read and loved? So that's what we're going to be attempting today. I'm going to pull up my last 5-star reads, and we're going to go down to the recommended area and see what they think I would also enjoy. So in order to do this, obviously, we have pulled up Goodreads on my computer. I feel like this is going to be the easiest place to do it. We're going to go to My Books. And this is already sorted by most recently read and finished, because I'm in the middle of 4 books right now, I know. But if we go on down, my most recent 5-star read is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bottom Young. This is one that I talked about in my scavenger hunt video recently because I updated prompts for a scavenger hunt on bookshelves to find your next read, and the first one that you needed was your last 5-star read. So this was my last 5-star read. I don't think I've finished any other books since that last video. So this is a romance that I absolutely loved. And as we go on down, they have more editions, but here, this is what I'm talking about. Readers also enjoyed these books. And the first one that is standing out to me is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison, because I have it. I do own that one. So this is sort of the reason I wanted to look into this, is I am almost thinking, I don't know if I'm gonna do a vlog on all 5 or not, but this is making me want to pick that book up more because I absolutely loved Out on a Limb. And Out on a Limb had a one-night stand pregnancy thing, and that was the whole book. We had the romance with it, but the pregnancy was a huge part of it. I don't think that is in First Time Caller, but I'm going to assume maybe people love it for the emotions that it has, the fact that they're both romances. Maybe there's some sort of trope that people love. So that is definitely standing out to me. We also have some other books that I have not heard of, like Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Baystone. Hopefully I'm saying that last name correctly. We have other ones that I have heard of but don't own, like Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood and If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. We're not going to go through all 5 bars of this readers also enjoyed, but our next one, we also have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage, Beg, Borrow or Steal by Sarah Adams, and Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. So that is showing 2 B.K. Borisons on this list, as well as 2 Ali Hazelwoods. So again, maybe people that read Hannah Bottom Young also really enjoy those authors. I just find that very, very intriguing. So, like I said, First Time Caller, if I was gonna have to pick something off of this list, would be the one I pick because I already own a copy. Now going back to my books, we're gonna go down to my next 5-star read, which I gave it 4.5 stars, but I'm actually very curious to see what we would get with Last First Kiss by Julian Winters. I gave it 4.5 stars because, and I talked about this in my wrap-up and things, there was a little bit too many sex scenes and very graphic ones at that, for the fact that one of our main characters is discovering that he is demisexual. I am demisexual, and I'm not necessarily saying that you can't be all in once you're into your person and wanting to do that kind of stuff, but there were multiple scenes and things in a row, and it just sort of felt like a little bit too much of that, but otherwise the actual romance and characters and things I loved. So if we took that one aspect out, it would be a full 5-star read. So we are gonna actually go with this one, and I'm curious to see, again, what are they gonna suggest? This is a male-male LGBTQ queer romance. Are the romance books that they're going to suggest also in that vein? I would sort of hope so. So as we go down, okay, readers also enjoyed 1 Week to Win the Chocolate Maker by Timothy Janowski. Okay, I have not actually heard of that one, but I have read a different Timothy Janowski, also who writes male-male romance, that I really enjoyed. So that could potentially be a thing. It feels very contemporary, almost feels like those like Eat, Pray, Love, like going on vacation type of books. We'll see. The next one that we have here is Starshipped by Cat Sebastian. That is a book that I think is going to be coming out. I don't think it's released yet. And it's going to be dealing with more of like a TV show or a movie set. And I'm very intrigued by that one, but I don't think it's out. Then we have Two Left Feet by Callie Embledge. I have never heard that one. It looks like potentially soccer. I think I see Big Ben there, so football. We have Husband of the Year by M.A. Wardell. That is an author who I've heard a lot of things about. Good things about the books and things. They are Jewish, but I'm pretty sure they are in favor of Israel versus Palestine, because within the last year or two, I took them off of my list of authors I want to read. So personally, I just don't think I would ever read their books. Moving on to our next thing here, we have the Halifax Hellions by Alexandra Vosti. I can't tell if that's a male-male romance or not. The next one is not, based on the cover. Maybe this one by Sophie Sullivan. I've never heard of either of these. I'm not saying that this book is not queer. It could very well be that this is a bi romance for at least one of the characters, but it is intriguing to me that this has popped up without an actual, like, queer romance, like, obvious. Whereas then we have If All the Stars Go Dark by S.G. Prince, that very obviously screams male-male romance to me. But again, I have not heard of any of these three. And then the last one is My Roommate from Hell by Cale Dietrich. I've heard of this author. I've been semi-interested, but they feel like they write more YA going into new adult, and sometimes it just depends. So if I was going to be picking out of all of these ones, I would probably go with Starshipped by Cat Sebastian to try out, only because I am very intrigued by that one, and I think it's supposed to be coming in some sort of book box at some point in time. I could be mistaken, but I actually think it's potentially been teased as, I guess, spoilers for anybody that wants to know or doesn't want to know, Afterlight for March. So again, that could be something that comes in very shortly. Okay, going back to my books, my next 5-star is Anne of Green Gables. We're actually gonna skip that one because of the fact that, like, that's a reread, and I don't think I necessarily want to look at a bunch of classics right now because I feel like that's what would pull up. We're also gonna be skipping any like manga or graphic novels and the Bloodlines series, just because when I remember reading all of these, all the like readers also enjoyed were more books from the series or more YA vampire books, and I just don't want to look into those right now. So the next one we have here that I think we are going to look at is A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. So this is the second book in the Wayfarers series, but they're more like companion novel type of things. So I do think it's different enough that we're going to look into this one. It is adult sci-fi, very queer normative world. I absolutely love this one. So they have, okay, readers also enjoyed all the books by Martha Wells. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Let's see if there's anything else. Martha Wells, Travis Baldree. Okay, so the Martha Wells books that they have on here are obviously more adult sci-fi, lots of novellas with, you know, Murderbot. This is the Murderbot series. But then we also have Brigands and Breadknives, which is the second book because there was a prequel. In the Legends and Lattes series, I definitely need to read this one, but I think it came out near the end of last year in hardcover, and I need paperback to match my other ones. But I have given every book in that series 5 out of 5 stars. I just absolutely love the cozy fantasy nature of it. They usually are sapphic. I'm assuming we're gonna be in the same vein here, but I don't know because it's not following the exact same main character from the other two. We're gonna be following somebody who was a side character in the prequel. They're now gonna be the main character. I definitely want to read it. Okay, so since we got a lot of Martha Wells, let's continue. What other things do we have here? Okay. Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. That is something that I've been intrigued by, but I don't own it. Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz. I did read it last year and I gave it 4.5 stars. So, okay, that makes sense. This is about robots starting a noodle shop. It is cozy sci-fi, which A Closed and Common Orbit is as well. However, they do talk a lot about a previous war, and the way that they talk about it, especially at the beginning, doesn't feel as cozy to me as it could have. So that's why I gave it 4.5, but still good. More Martha Wells. Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. Another one that is supposed to be, I've read this one, supposed to be cozy, fantasy, sci-fi-esque, lots of different genres. It is queer, which is great. I'm glad that this is here because A Closed and Common Orbit is as well. And I think of Monsters and Mainframes would be another like queer one. But Light from Uncommon Stars, again, didn't have as much coziness as it should have. And so there was a lot of sort of like transphobia, body dysmorphia, people putting themselves down, more than I ever wanted to read for it. Like, I understand why it was there, but it was not my favorite book. I gave it like a 3. And I'm gonna we're just gonna go one more. Okay, Ancillary Justice by Ann Leckie. That's a sci-fi. I don't actually know much about it. I think we're getting into more strict sci-fi now, because then we also have A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine. I don't really know much about that, except for I'm pretty sure it's sci-fi. We have Bookshops and Bone Dust, the prequel by Travis Baldree. I did love that one, 5 out of 5 stars. And then Service Model by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I know the author's name, haven't read anything by him, don't know the actual book. So again, if I was gonna be picking stuff from here, I think we'd have to go with either Brigands and Breadknives if I wanted more cozy fantasy and part of a series, or of Monsters and Mainframes, because I have been intrigued by that. I'm pretty sure it's a sci-fi version of like Universal Monsters type of stuff, like Dracula, the Wolfman, I think. I don't know. I'm very intrigued. Okay, let's find a couple more books. We're gonna keep going on down. Cemetery Boys was another reread, but that could be one to look at. Home is Where the Bodies Are was more of a thriller sort of thing, and I am very hit or miss with those, so I think we're just gonna keep going. Okay, I see the Traitor Queen, but also the Bridge Kingdom. Okay, that's a fantasy romance, which is a very different vibe than some of the other ones we were looking at. Let's definitely take a look at that. So we have The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle Jensen. Again, I did give it 5 stars. This is one of those books that I was reading, I devoured, I could not put it down, and then it ends sort of like on a cliffhanger and I needed to know what happens. I literally went out the next day and bought book 2 so I could finish reading the, like, it's part of a series, but like the duology has like the same main characters, and then like book 3, when I eventually get there, we'll have new main characters. Yeah, no, I loved it. Very fantasy romance, like it has this fantasy political system, very unique sort of world building, on the brink of war type of situation. But the romance is very integral because our main character has been like training her entire life to sort of be betrothed to the enemy king. And then once she's in there, she's supposed to like spy and potentially assassinate and that kind of thing. But obviously feelings end up happening. It was so, so good. So if we go on down to readers also enjoyed. Okay, so I will say I do enjoy fantasy romance, but I don't think I'm as big into it as a lot of people. So there's a lot of stuff I recognize on here currently that I don't own, haven't read, but I do think it would be intriguing to do. So like The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I think this is going to be a duology where the second book comes out later this year. I'm intrigued, but at the same time, all I know is that it's very, very hyped. Like, I don't feel like I've heard people really dive into like what it's about. Same thing with Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry. I've heard the name and seen the cover everywhere, but I don't think I could tell you what it's about. We also have Brimstone by Callie Hart, which is the sequel to Quicksilver, which I do know a little bit more about, fantasy romance with like vampires. The original book was indie, and I think it's now been picked up to be traditionally published. So like, I would be intrigued by all of these. We also have Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli, I think. This says book 2. So again, I don't know much about that one, but I'm pretty sure I've recognized the first one. Like, it's a very similar cover. If we keep going, okay, we have Direbound by Sable Sorensen. That is another one that came out, I want to say semi-recently, that people have been talking about, but again, I don't know if I could tell you exactly what it's about, besides it is fantasy romance. Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder is another one that looks sort of familiar, but not as familiar as the ones on the previous page. We also have The Wolf King by Lauren Palfreman. The cover, the wolf on there looks a little AI to me. I would have to like really dive into it to see, but because of that like first glance for me, I wouldn't probably pick it up. And then we also have the Road of Bones by Demi Winters. I have never heard of that one whatsoever. If we keep going, we have Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which is a sequel. So I wouldn't probably pick that up right away. We also have Quicksilver by Callie Hartz. That's the first book to Brimstone. The Night Prince by Lauren Palferman. Yeah, again, the cover's looking a little AI to me, so maybe this author is a little bit prone to that. I probably wouldn't pick it up. Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. I'm pretty sure that one also has some sort of vampires. So again, a lot of these are very intriguing to me, but I don't own anything currently. So I would probably pick maybe out of these three, including Quicksilver here instead, because I do feel like those are pretty hyped currently, and I would be intrigued to do more fantasy romance. So like, again, I don't know which one I would pick up. If I do decide to do some sort of vlog about this, maybe you guys should let me know which one should I actually gravitate towards. Have you read any of them? Like, I would be curious. All I know is that they're very, very loved and hyped. Okay, let's find one more 5-star read, something a little bit different than things that we were doing. Lots of manga. This is back in now, like September, I think. We have more romance and things. I don't think I want to pick more romance. Okay, here's another one that I technically gave 4.5 stars, but it's a YA fantasy with a magical school setting, and I'm just actually very curious about what other recommendations, what other things have readers enjoyed. So even though, like I said, I gave it 4.5 stars, we've had a couple of those now, I'm just curious to see what those recommendations would be. This was a very good start to the series. I just wanted a little bit more from it, which I'm hoping to get in further books, because I actually did really enjoy the magical school setting and the fact that it felt like we had a very wide variety of stuff, but it was just like I needed a little bit more from it. So let's see. If we go down to what readers also enjoyed, The Library of Unruly Treasures by Jeannie Birdsall. I have no idea what that is. Oh, okay, Dreamslinger by Gracie Kim. I have heard of this one, very intrigued by it. It's gonna be another sort of middle grade fantasy, obviously, but I think based on some mythology from, I think, Korean? I could be mistaken, but I was intrigued by that. We also have What Fell from the Sky by Adriana Cuevas. I don't know if that's gonna be sci-fi or not. I've never heard of that one. Same thing for The Experiment by Rebecca Stead. I've never seen this cover, but this boy has a tail, which is intriguing. And then we also have The Extraordinary Orbit of Alex Ramirez. That one also looks like it's gonna have some science stuff, but maybe like more contemporary, but like actually going into science, because I'm seeing telescopes and planets and things. The Isle of Ever by Jen Kalanita. This is another one that I've heard of. I'm pretty sure this is more fairy tale-esque in a way, and I'd be very intrigued by that. Then I see Meticulous Jones and the Skull Tattoo, so it looks like Inkbound maybe is the series, because then the title is showing Meticulous Jones and the Skull Tattoo by Philippa Lethe. Have not heard of that one. And also Bad Badger, A Love Story by Mary Rose Wood. Okay, I'm intrigued by its calling itself a love story, where like everything else has definitely seemed middle grade. Even though there's a badger on the front, it calling itself a love story, I don't know if it's actually middle grade. Okay, very intriguing. So again, if I was going to pick, I would probably go with Dreamslinger. I've been very, very intrigued by that one. A good backup would probably be Isle of Ever, but I feel like we had some mythology stuff in Vanya and the Wild Hunt. Some of it was based on the fact that Sangu Mandana was our author, and there was like some mythology from her culture and stuff. There was a whole bunch as well. So again, I think the Dreamslinger stuff would be good. Okay, I'm gonna close out my books. But yeah, I was just curious, because again, I picked a whole bunch of stuff in my other like 5-star prediction video. But like this is based on the fact that I loved those books and other readers also enjoyed them, which does make me curious a little bit, like what did the other readers who enjoyed them rate them? Is it like a guaranteed 4 or 5 star? But then also you can tell that some of it was correct, like especially when I went into like a closed and common orbit, there were books that I did read and enjoy. Like I had actually read some Murderbot stuff that I gave 4.5 or 5 stars. I really enjoyed Automatic Noodle, but then we did have Light from Uncommon Stars, which was not my thing as much. So like there is a wide variety of those things, but I am curious now, if I do some sort of vlog or something, which I think I might have to, I'm curious, would those other books I picked still be close to a 5 star? I think we're gonna have to see, and that is gonna be it for me today. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye!